Mic check. Money check. Mindset check.
This is Mic'd Up Money Reloaded.
Where entrepreneurs talk money, strategy, systems, and execution. No fake hustle, no empty flexing, just real business talk that gets you right.
Mic'd Up Money
Reloaded, talk that strategy, show it. Systems moving, profit growing. Real entrepreneurs already know it. No fake value, better own it. Price meets pain when the bridge is built. Execution turns the vision golden. If the plan is weak, the pressure gets felt.
Mic check.
Hey. Money check.
Mindset check.
This ain't just motivation. This is business correction. This ain't just conversation. This is money direction.
You want profit, build the model. You want growth, fix the flow. You want increase, check the numbers.
What you don't know can stop the show.
Mic'd Up Money
Reloaded, talk that strategy, show it.
Systems moving, profit growing.
Real entrepreneurs already know it.
Hey.
No fake hustle, no empty flexing, no more guessing, no more
stressing. Money, strategy, systems, execution.
Reload the vision, rebuild the plan. Price the value, know where you stand.
Mic'd Up
Money Reloaded.
Bumping 96.3 FM. iHeartRadio, YouTube.
Where entrepreneurs talk money,
strategy, systems,
and execution.
Stop just listening.
Start applying.
Mic'd Up
Money Reloaded.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
This episode and supporting toolkit are for educational, informational, and strategic business discussion purposes only. The discussion does not provide legal, financial, investment, accounting, or professional advice. Business owners should consult qualified business professionals for decisions involving taxes, legal guidance, legal compliance, investment matters, financing, intellectual property, or contracts. The purpose of this episode is to help entrepreneurs, small business owners, solo operators, creatives, consultants, nonprofit leaders, and side hustlers think more clearly about revenue goals, sales behavior, forecasting, revenue streams, customer activities, referrals, testimonials, intellectual property, and execution. Welcome to Mic'd Up Money Reloaded, where entrepreneurs talk money, strategy, systems, and execution. I am Efrem Keith Simmons, Senior Business Consultant, Business Strategist, and Professional Trainer. And today we are not just talking about making money, we are talking about making the number make sense. If you're listening to Bumping 96.3 FM, iHeartRadio, or catching the long format episode on YouTube, I need you to lean in. This one is for the business owner, solo operator, consultant, creative, nonprofit leader, side hustler, and entrepreneur who set an income goal but may not have built the math behind it. Today's episode is Guide for the Grind, Mathin or Magic. Setting the income goal, make the money make sense. Because a revenue goal is either math or magic. If you can explain where the money is coming from and who is supposed to pay it, how often it should repeat, what offer creates it, and what activity supports it, that is math. If you just picked a number because it sounded good, that is magic. And magic is hard to deposit. Again, and magic is hard to deposit. Everyone wants to start with a big number. 6 figures, 7 figures, more revenue, more profit, more customers, more opportunities. But here is the question. Can your business model defend the number? Do you even have a business model? what is a business model? You listen to our prior episodes and you'll find out what a business model is. But it's not based on your ambition. It's not based on your vision board. It's not your social media caption. It's your business model. Because if you say, I want to make $250,000 this year, the next question is, from what revenue stream? From what customers? At what price? At what frequency? With what capacity? With what follow-up? With what proof? With what system? A number without a plan is not a goal. It is a wish wearing business clothes. As a business owner, one of the most important things that you can do is set up what income you would generate for the entire year. To do that, you have to have some type of strategic planning session. You have to have some type of long-term thought process about how you're going to make money. The way I like to do it is for 12 months, you have to have 12 big projects. I call them the big stone. These are going to be the primary income source generators for that particular month. Then you got to have medium-sized stones. Those are the systems around those big goals that you need to make the money. And then you have to have those processes to support those systems to produce things in your sales funnel to come in and generate that money. So you got your big stone, you got your medium stones, and then the little stones are things that just show up. Appointment, on the plan, calls that people want you to help them to collaborate to make money, or opportunities that present themselves for you to make money. But you have to have that big stone, that medium stone, and that small stone process every month going on. Because if not, having the number without any support is it's magic. You just pull it out the hat. You pull that rabbit out the hat. Be a magic trick. But in business, you cannot do magic tricks. You have to have disciplined goals for you to make money. So today we're going to be talking about guide for the grind. Wall Street is forward-looking. When public companies report quarterly earnings, investors look at gross revenue, net income, margins, last year comparisons, quarter-over-quarter movement, and future revenue guidance. They're not just asking, did the company make money? They're asking, did it meet expectations? And can leadership explain where the future revenue is coming from? A company can make money and still see the stock price punished if it misses revenue earning expectations, lowers guidance, or cannot clearly explain where future revenue is coming from. Wall Street punishes uncertainty because investors want predictability. They want confidence in the future cash flow, not just a nice story behind the past. Small business owners may say, I am not publicly traded. True. But your bills are judging. Your vendors are judging. Your payroll is judging. Your household is judging you, and lenders are judging you. Your own stress level is judging. If you do not properly plan and strategically execute revenue, you leave it up to hit or miss behavior. Hit or miss behavior is not a business model. Your revenue needs focused attention, discipline, strategic execution, and creativity. As a small business owner or a solo operator, what you do every day matters. Not just what you believe, not just what you plan, not just what you post. What you do every day matters because revenue disappears due to neglected daily activity. Not properly developing a sales funnel is tragic. A sales funnel is the path that moves forward. A sales funnel is the path that moves someone from awareness to interest, from interest to trust, from trust to decision, and from decision to payment. If you do not have that path, every sale becomes harder than it needs to be. You are not operating a business. You are waiting on someone to remember you. Every day you should be doing at least one of three things: producing sales, generating sales, or asking for and creating your next sale. Producing sales means delivering what has already been sold. Generating sales means creating attention, interest, leads, referrals, conversations, offers, and opportunities. Asking for or creating your next sale means intentionally moving someone toward a decision. If your calendar is full, but your pipeline is empty, you are not busy in the right direction. This episode is not just about setting a bigger income goal. Anybody can do that. This is about setting a better income goal. A goal built on historical income, real customer activity, strong revenue stream, overhead control, unutilized IP, referral strategy, testimonial point, package offers, prioritized opportunities, monthly targets, weekly sales behavior, and a 90-day execution plan. You do not need a prettier number. You need a stronger model. You don't need more magic. You need better math. Segment number 1, the income goal reality check. Let's start with the first question. Is the number real or random. A lot of entrepreneurs set income goals the same way some people pick lottery numbers, with emotion, with hope, but it's always disconnected from a real plan. What we hope to do in this episode is to give you tools that will help you to make what you want to do income-wise a reality. So the first tool we have is the income goal reality check. It helps you to test the income goal against evidence, customer activity, pricing, capacity, offers, and weekly execution. Let me stress the fact of weekly execution. When you're an entrepreneur, you don't have someone that's making you do anything, but you have to have execution. So weekly, you should always have a goal. You should always have planned meetings. You should also have planned activities and planned projects so you can meet weekly revenue goals. And then you need to level up. Either you're going to do it or you're not doing it. Either you're going to think it or you're going to plan it and you're going to execute it, or you're going to just keep saying I'm an entrepreneur. But are you built for this? You have to get up and do it. The goal must be predictable, expandable, repeatable, explainable, and trackable. In other words, you got to hold your own self accountable for this. Now let's move from this idea to the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior, systems, and numbers line up. Segment number 2, historical income. What did you actually produce? Because you forecast forward, you have to look backward, not emotionally, financially. The question is not just how much did you make? The question is, what kind of money did you make? And can you make it again? A lot of times when you make money, you got to be conscious in the moment to see how you made this money. Was it something in your sales funnel? Was it a random word of mouth opportunity that showed up? If you cannot explain the number, you cannot manage the number. In other words, if I'm just saying a thing and I can't tell you how I'm going to make this money, I'm just talking. Did you plan this? Was this something that you conceived, or did it just happen? So when we talk about customers, a lot of times people make money because they go back to old satisfied customers and they call them up out the blue and says, hey, is there anything I can help you out with? Are you having some problem you think that I may be assistance with? But even though you called them out the blue, that was not out the blue. That was part of a plan. And so when you called them and asked them, can you be of further assistance? You planned it. And that's how it happened. That's how that sale happened. But you got to have some type of historical plan to know how to do it. So what we have this tool we want to mention is the historical income definer, income classifier. And it helps you to separate recurring, situational, one-off, declining, and missed income. And do not build this year's target on last year's expectation. In other words, don't keep saying I'm going to make $100,000 each year, and each year you're only making 30. You're going to have to put some muscle behind that mouth. If you're going to make $100,000 and you only made 30 last year, you're going to have to do some more activity, some more execution to get up from 38 to 100. But just don't keep saying I'm going to make $100,000 each year and you don't. And last year is not proof unless you understand what made the revenue happen. What did you do to make that $38,000? And what do you have to do to turn that $38,000 into $100,000? I like to think about entrepreneurship is like going into a game. You know, they have this little box around the goal in basketball so that if you get inside that box, it's more likely that you're going to make that shot. But they put that guide box around the rim so you can do that. And a lot of times in entrepreneurship, you have to have a goal, but you have to have that guide box around that rim so that you know that you can at least make that shot and make it happen. A lot of times people, first of all, they do not have the goal. So they don't have the rim. So they don't have the guide box. Your strategic plan is that guide box around that rim so that you can shoot at it and make the income go. A lot of people don't do that. So they can't make it. The next thing we're going to talk about is the number you made last year does not matter until you know how you made it. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior, systems, and numbers line up. Segment number 3, one-off income may be an error. One-off income is not always something you throw away in the forecast. Sometimes one-off income is an error. It may be pointing toward a new offer, a new customer type, or a revenue stream that needs to be developed. I say in business, feedback is important. Sometimes what you think that people want is not what people want. And the way you offer it, you think that's how they want it, but they may not want it the way you offer it. Customers will always give you insights on how you can make more money. If they call you up and you're selling soda, you saying, I sell this, that, and the other. And they say, can I get a mix? Okay. They just wanted the mix. Next day, 5 more customers want the mix. Next day, 10 more customers want the mix. So should I put the mix on the menu because that's what people are asking for? Or should I continue to say I only have 4 soda? A lot of times people just don't know what to do because they're not looking at how people are asking for their service. or their product. They're just looking at how they want to sell it. But if everybody keeps asking for the mix is the thing that you need to advertise. The mix is the thing you need to promote because that's what people are buying. A lot of times people may call it one-off income because they never thought it should be on the menu. But if people are asking for it, it should be on the menu. I know I was trying to lose some weight and I just asked the trainer I was going to at that time, could you just let me come in and be accountable to the scale? And I believe that would help me with my weight goal. And he said, no, we don't do it that way. But imagine if he took my one-off suggestion and just had an accountability class where people just come in and weigh in and you let them do what they want to do. Because apparently those are the type of people who don't want to come to the gym, but they still want to be held accountable. But what if I had a program that helped those people do that? No, I'm a personal trainer. I make them do. No, what if I had an opportunity to make them do that? That could be a easy revenue stream for me to do without me doing any personalized work. They just come in, I just weigh them in, give them a brief talk, tell them, hey, you're doing good. Hey, you need to get on it and let them go. As long as they show up and pay me, that is easy money. But for him, it was only you go to the gym, you only sweat, and that's the only way I make my money. But one-off incomes could be an opportunity for you to see something that you've never seen before. But we have this tool called the Mixed Opportunity Audit. And what it helps you to do is study why the one-off money came in, who requested it, what problem is solved, and whether the customer activity is pointing toward future demand. Then ask whether a weak revenue stream should be replaced by an opportunity customers are already asking for. One-off income may not be the model, but it may be the arrow pointing to the next one. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior systems and numbers line up. Segment number 4, SRS, OE plus IP equals smarter revenue. Once we understand the revenue history, we have to identify the engine. Strong revenue streams bring money in, SRS. Overhead eliminators protect the money, OE. Unutilized intellectual property turns past work into future income, IP. So strong revenue streams identifier. So every income, everything you do needs to be strategic and it needs to be planned, and everything needs to go around the SRS. That's the strong revenue streams. Those are the bigger rocks. The overhead eliminators, I call them the medium-sized rocks. And the IP are the smaller rocks, are the other opportunities that present themselves along the way. A lot of times people are neglecting IP, intellectual property, because they just, it's like, I did this workshop 10 years ago. Okay, can you repackage their workshop, turn it into a small mini course, charge $10 for it, and let it make money? Okay, I wrote these little small things a long time ago. Can you take those writings, package it, repackage it up, and make it make money? The thing about it is, a lot of times people are sitting on revenue that they have not identified because I did this thing so long ago. The thing I like about fashion is sometimes people think they're highly creative and it's highly original, but fashion likes to repeat itself. Sometimes if you keep something in the closet long enough, it'll come fashionable again and you can pull it out and they be saying, oh, I like that. I like that. And that's the thing you got to understand about things that you've done in the past. Okay, it may have been lackluster in the past and it may not produce the revenue you wanted back then, but if you repackage it, reimagine, and send it back out, it may make more money now. Some songs that people wrote a long time ago are becoming popular when it's reintroduced to the general public. And so that's how you have to be about your IP. But we have this tool. We have strong revenue stream identifier, overhead eliminator worksheet, unutilized IP inventory, and revenue stream decision make. The goal with this tool is to feed what works, cut what leaks, and monetize what is sitting unused. A business does not grow by selling more. It always grows by protecting margin and converting dead stored value into structured revenue. SRS brings money in. OE keeps money from leaking out. IP turns past work into future revenue. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior systems and numbers line up. Segment number 5. Wall Street is forward looking and your business should be too. Let's make this make sense. Wall Street is forward looking. When public companies report quarterly earnings, investors are not only looking for what happened, they are looking at what happened compared to expectations, compared to last year, and compared to what leadership says it's likely to happen next. And that's the thing about it. It's like a lot of times people want investors in their business and they want to show them what they did in the past. Good. But when they ask them how you plan to make more money in the future, some people cannot answer their question. And that's one of the reasons they may not be able to get invested. You have to always be forward looking. You have to identify what's going to be the next big thing. Imagine if you were Blockbusters and you were making all this money, and then somebody like Redbox shows up And now your money is cut in half because people like the fact that they can just go to the red box at any time, pull out a DVD and get what they want. Whereas when they come to your store, they have to be there at a certain time. You only have a certain amount of supply and, it just don't work. And then think that you're red box making all this money and then streaming comes along and knock you out the box because now people don't have to wait on the DVD, don't have to wait when someone turns it back in. Now they can just buy it on demand. But streaming has to be mindful of what's going to be the next big thing. And so you always got to be forward looking because what you do today may not be available tomorrow. And they can change laws on you. Our technology can just knock it out the box. So you always have to be forward looking. So when you're trying to find investors, you got to be able to show investors you have your eye on the goal, on the prize, that what you're going to do is going to work in the future. If you keep telling investors what I did yesterday is going to work tomorrow, they may say, no, I don't want to invest. So we have this tool. It's called the Forecast Confidence Scorecard. Investors look at gross income, net income, margins, prior year comparisons, quarterly expectations, and guidance for future revenue. This tool helps you to look at all of that. A company can make money and still be punished if it misses expectations if the future guidance is weak. And small businesses get punished too. We have this tool called the Forecast Confidence Scorecard. And we want you to realize that small businesses get punished too. But the punishment shows up in cash stress, public panicking, late bills, weak decisions, and taking bad customers. So this tool will help you to prevent that as a small business. But Wall Street punishes uncertainty. Small businesses does too. It shows up in cash stress. You may not have shareholders, but your bills still expect guidance. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point because the goal only becomes real when the behavior, systems, and numbers line up. Segment number 6, revenue leak, where money is slipping away. Some businesses do not need more revenue first. They need to stop misplacing the revenue they already earn. Revenue can leak through weak systems, underpricing, scope creep, late payments, free consulting, poor follow-up, and non-recurring off. And the thing about revenue is once you have gotten a customer, that's one of the most important things that you can have in your business, a customer. I tell people all the time when they're trying to develop a business plan, you're only in business if you have a customer. But once you get that customer to pay, can you get that customer to pay more? Can you get that customer to pay again? Can you get that customer to get you more customers? First thing is you got to understand when you have a customer. But we have this tool called the Revenue Leak Finder. It helps you find losses before you start adding more revenue. And it helps fix pricing leaks, time leaks, follow-up leaks, referral leaks, testimonial leaks, IP leaks, recurring leaks, payment leaks, and capacity leaks. Sometimes you don't need more revenue. You need to stop misplacing the revenue you already earn. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point because the goal only becomes real when the behavior, system, and numbers line up. Customer arbitrage. Work more with the right people. Every customer is not equal. Some customers produce revenue, referrals, repeat business, testimonials, and reputation. Other customers produce stress, late payments, constant renegotiation, scope creep, and low margin. There are some customers I love dealing with because they are joy. I tell them how much they owe, they pay me, and I get the payment. We have a light conversation, and I leave. But then some customers, it's always a thing where I have to keep discussing pricing. I have to keep discussing value because they want everything on the low. Those type of customers never want to pay you what you charge them. They always want you to cut them a deal. They always want to keep you tied up in conversations about your pricing and make you feel like they deserve a break. Subconsciously, I didn't know why I didn't like to deal with some customers, but when I went back and thought about it, I would rather not deal with this customer because it just takes too long. And they always want me to defend my price, this, that, and the other. And I just don't like it, just don't have time for it. I had one tax customer that used to always complain about my pricing. And then he went and did a price comparison. He found out that my price was a good price. Matter of fact, it was the best price he can get for the work he was trying to get done. And then he got a little act right in him for a little while. But my thing is, when you have a customer, you got to keep evaluating the customer to make sure that it's somebody you want to deal with. Because if it's somebody you don't want to deal with subconsciously, you would start their work a little shorter. It take you longer to produce the work. You would say like, I don't know why I don't feel like I want to deal with this person. But every year you should look at your customers and decide which ones you want to work with and which ones you do not. Because working with a bad customer is something that you really don't want to do. So we have this tool called the Customer Arbitrage Tool. And it helps you decide what customers to work with, how to reprice something, how to reduce access to you, refer elsewhere, or release. You want to work more with customers who pay on time, who refer others, who value your process, buy again, and produce strong margin. Your best customers deserve more of your business than your worst customers. So therefore, let's look at that also, how you have these customers. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior, systems, and numbers line up. The word of mouth, referral, and testimonial proof. Segment 8. Word of mouth is powerful, but random word of mouth increases random revenue. You want people sending you to the right somebody. And once they send that person, proof should always be waiting. And the thing about word of mouth is I built my business around word of mouth. And I love not having to spend a lot of money on advertising, because word of mouth has really helped me in so many ways, because first of all, it helps me to be selective. I don't have to deal with anybody. And so that helps me out. And then word of mouth also gives people some type of proof, some type of respect when they come deal with me. Because if my customers are always telling them, hey, he's a good guy, he get the work done, but don't play with his money. That's the kind of pre-advertisement and marketing I love, because when I deal with them, they know, hey, I'm gonna get the work done, but I'm about my money. Don't play with my money. And I love that type of word of mouth. But to have a word of mouth business, you constantly have to be working with people. You constantly have to be talking to people to get them to keep your name in their mouth, to keep referring you. So you have to know how to do this. To make this thing work, we have a tool called the Word of Mouth and Referral Builder, the Testimonial Touchpoint Development Tool. And this tool will help you to build specific referral language and to collect testimonials at 3 touch points: before the work, during the work, and after the work. And to use testimonials for websites, marketing clips, sales pages, social posts, and word endorsements. I know a lot of these sample websites, they have these people who are giving these testimonials. Make sure that your website has real people that give real testimonials, because sometimes people do look these people up. And so if they look them up and they find out they're bogus, and they do Google picture analysis. So if you're using the sample stuff on your website to say that this person is endorsing you, and they find out it's just clip art, or they find out it's some type of stock pictures, then your credibility goes out the window. But remember, random referrals create random revenue. Strategic referrals create better customers. Proof beats hype. Specific beats generic. So now let's move from this idea into the next revenue execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior, systems, and numbers line up. Segment number 9, IP discovery. Stop storing value and start structuring. Many entrepreneurs do not have an idea problem. They have a packaging problem. They already created value, but it's just sitting in files, recordings, trainings, sermons, podcasts, workshops, books, workbooks, templates, frameworks, speeches, and old workshops. Original content, OC, can always be repackaged and reproduced in a way to sell today. Sometimes you might have to take some things off. Some things you might have to add just a little bit more in. Sometimes you have to create something to go with it, a template, a worksheet, something to make it work. But some things can always be repackaged. Your original content is always valuable because it was original. And that's the thing I need to stress, because it was original. And once you find something that you have done, something that you found was fascinating, you have to remember, just because it did not work at that place and at that time does not mean that it will not work. I know on TikTok Shop, people sell books because they print a book and they go to the pages, they say certain things, and they create an interest for what they're selling. And sometimes you can have something that you had before, it did not produce because you did not sell it. Yes, you had it, but you thought it would sell itself, but you have to do things to create interest in what you're doing. And some of the old things that you have done can be repackaged, repurposed, or just explained better to customers, and it can work better. And so what we have now is a tool to help you to develop that. It's called the IP Discovery Tool, the IP Prioritization Actualization Roadmap. It helps you define unused intellectual property, turn discussion into development, development into products, and products into revenue. Use AI tools to organize, outline, draft, transcribe, edit, design, repurpose, and launch IP assets, and review whether protection may involve copyright, trademark, patent review. trade secrets, controls, contracts, and licensing language. Just don't store it, structure it. Discussion is not development. Potential is not profit. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior system and numbers line up. Number 10, package the offer and prioritize the opportunity. A lot of entrepreneurs are not losing money because they lack talent. They are losing money because their offer is unclear, vague. Offers are hard priced, hard to explain, hard to refer, and hard to repeat. In other words, you're trying to sell something, but you don't know how to sell it. You're trying to create interest, but you don't know how to create interest. You're trying to prove that you have something that's valuable, but the language you're using does not make it valuable. So we have this tool called the Offer Package Builder, Opportunity Revenue Readiness Scorecard. It helps you build the offer clearly, score opportunities before chasing them. Every opportunity should be evaluated for revenue potential, repeatability, margin, speed, customer demand, brand fit, capacity, referrals, and IP potential. If people cannot explain what you sell, they cannot refer what you sell. Every opportunity is not an assignment. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior systems and numbers line up. Segment number 11, daily revenue behavior. Your sales funnel cannot be enact. Some people talk to the small business owner and solo operator directly. What you do every day matters. Revenue does not usually disappear all at once. It disappears through neglected daily activity. This point is so valuable because a lot of people don't know their future is always developed in their daily activity. If I'm trying to lose weight, how I eat daily will help me to meet my weekly weight loss goal. If I eat ice cream, cakes, and pies every day, when it comes to the weekend and I weigh myself, I'm usually going to gain weight because I have exceeded my calories every day. But if every day I work on reducing my calories and keeping my calories within a target weight loss limit, then I can lose weight. So we have this tool called the Sales Funnel and Daily Revenue Activity Builder, and it has a weekly sales activity planner. And the core things we need to talk about is not properly developing a sales funnel is tragic. A funnel moves people from awareness to interest, from interest to trust, from trust to decision, and from decision to payment. Every day, you should be producing sales, generating sales, or asking for and creating your next sale. If your calendar is full, but your pipeline is empty, you're not busy in the right direction. A sales funnel is not a luxury. It is a path your revenue travels. Activity without sales movement is motion without money. Now let's move from this idea into the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior systems and numbers line up. Segment 12, turn the number into a monthly, weekly, or 90-day plan. A revenue goal without a breakdown is just pressure. If you want $120,000 this year, that's $10,000 per month. But what does it mean weekly? How many conversations, offers, follow-ups, referrals, testimonials, proposals, and sales activities support the number? In my own personal business, I can understand when I'm not going to meet my goal because, each week I have to make a certain number and goal. And the thing about goals is you got to stay on a weekly grind, because if you don't stay in a weekly grind, what will happen is if you meet and surpass your goal in week 1, you will feel lax on week 2. But week 2, you need to still keep grinding like you did in week 1 so that you can make that revenue goal. You never know how things will play out each week, but each week you need to act like that is the only week in that month. You got to keep grinding. And so what we came up with tool is a monthly income target calculator, a weekly sales activity planner, and a forecast confidence scorecard, and a 90-day revenue action map. It helps you break your number into monthly targets, weekly behavior, forecast confidence, and a 90-day execution plan. On this 90-day revenue action map, we help you plan the first 30 days. We help you define it and clean it up. And from days 31 to 60, we help you to package and test. And from days 61 to 90, we help you to sell, systemize what you're doing. A revenue goal without a 90-day action map is ambition with no calendar. Now let's move from this idea to the next execution point, because the goal only becomes real when the behavior systems and numbers line up. This episode gives you the conversation. The level up toolkit gives you the execution. That's the difference. A lot of entrepreneurs listen to business content, get motivated, and then money comes. The same numbers are still unclear. The same offers are still vague. The same customers are still draining time. The same referrals are still random. The same testimonials are still unused. The same IP is still sitting in folders. The Income Goal Builder Toolkit helps you work through what you made last year, what is repeatable, what is declining, what opportunities you miss, what revenue streams are strong, what overhead needs to be eliminated, what IP can be monetized, what customers you need more of, what customers you need fewer of, what referrals you should be asking for, what testimonials you should collect, what offer you should package, what opportunity serves priority, what monthly income target is realistic, what weekly activity supports it, and what 90-day plan moves it forward. This is not content. This is business infrastructure. If you are serious about growing, you need more than inspiration. You need tools, worksheets, prompts, scorecards, decision frameworks, and a process that turns thought into action. Subscribe to Level Up, get the toolkit, work the tools, build the plan, and hit the number. Let me close this way. Your income goal cannot just be something you write down because it sounds impressive. It has to be something your business can defend. If you do not properly plan and strategically execute revenue, you leave it to hit or miss behavior. Hit or miss revenue is not a business model. Your revenue needs focus, attention, discipline, strategic execution, and creativity. So do not just set the number. Build a plan to the number. This is Mic'd Up Money Reloaded. We talk about money, strategy, systems, and execution. I'm Efrem Keith Simmons. Listen, learn, and level up. That's it.
Mic check. Money check. Mindset check.
This is Mic'd Up Money Reloaded.
Where entrepreneurs talk money, strategy, systems, and execution. No fake hustle, no empty flexing, just real business talk that gets you right.
Mic'd Up Money
Reloaded, talk that strategy, show it. Systems moving, profit growing, real entrepreneurs already know it. No fake value, better own it. Price meets pain when the bridge is built. Execution turns the vision golden. If the plan is weak, the pressure gets felt.
Mic check.
Hey. Money check.
Mindset check.
This ain't just motivation. This is business correction. This ain't just conversation. This is money direction.
You want profit, build the model. You want growth, fix the flow. You want increase, check the numbers.
What you don't know can stop the show.
Mic'd Up Money
Reloaded, talk that strategy, show it.
Systems moving, profit growing.
Real entrepreneurs already know it. Hey. No fake hustle, no empty flexing, no more guessing, no more
stressing. Money, strategy, systems, execution. Reload the vision, rebuild the plan. Price the value, know where you stand. Mic'd Up Money Reloaded. Bumping 96.3 FM. iHeartRadio, YouTube.
Where entrepreneurs talk money,
strategy, systems,
and execution.
Stop just listening.
Start applying.
Mic'd Up Money
Reloaded.
Let's get it. Let's get it.